Hey everybody, Mais Karibyan, another podcast that I prepared for all my followers. Most of you who are following me, this channel is about financial services. Our goal is to help people and educate people when it comes to money. However, time to time I have special guests, and today is one of those days that I have a great individual that I invited to my studio, and I'm honored to have him. And he's a good friend, very well known, very respected, especially in Armenian community. And I remember about 8 years ago, we did a one show together. I'll put the link below. But I'm very excited to do the conversation with him because there's a lot of things I learned from him, and he's somebody that you can have great conversation about life, any topics, very entertaining, interesting, and also learn from him. So I'm honored to have Vartan Taymazyan in studio with me here. Vartan, how are you?
Good, brother. How are you?
Good, man. I was looking forward. I'm very happy and also excited to be here and
Same here.
have a conversation with you. And remember 8 years ago?
Of course I do.
Did the time pass fast, in your opinion?
It sure did. I mean, we go actually way back then.
Yeah.
8 years from
I mean,
high school days.
That was, let me try to remember. I was in high school, the same high school, John Marshall, back
Right.
in 1999 until
Exactly.
2002. What year did you graduate?
So I only came to John Marshall High School for 1 year in Hollywood. Then
Okay.
we moved to North Hollywood
Okay,
in 2000. So I
2000.
finished school in the Valley.
Got it, in Valley. Okay. Obviously, pretty much everyone being Armenian knows you, and you deserve that respect because you're a great singer
Thank you so
and
much.
you're a great individual and a
Thank you,
good
brother.
friend. So,
Thank you.
besides singing,
Yeah, of course. I mean, as you already know,
Yeah.
I'm also in the payment processing business.
yeah,
I like to work with business owners and
Uh-huh.
entrepreneurs
uh-huh.
and build a good network there.
Yeah,
So I like to help people,
yeah,
especially with businesses that are in need of different kind of services.
yeah, yeah,
We have a good network of different individuals that can offer different services.
yeah, yeah.
So I like to bring people together and, show my love and support to as many people as I can.
Nice, nice. Vartan, knowing you for many years, I follow a lot of your songs. I think most of the songs that comes out, I always listen. Even today, I told my kids, today whoever is going to come is Vartan, and they already know you. Oh, Vartan is coming. And
That's amazing.
when you
Beautiful
came,
kids.
my son is like, oh, I know. How did he say it? He's like, I know
He
him.
was like, I know you.
Yeah.
We were watching your videos.
Yeah, yeah.
God bless them. Beautiful kids.
Yeah. You got your second one, huh?
Yeah. He's a newborn, 3 months young. Named him Armin,
Uh-huh.
Junior Armin, and my oldest Henry is 4.
Do you think any one of them gonna follow you being a singer, or it's too early?
Possibly. No, the Henry's already
He's singing.
liking being in the studio. He likes the mic, the keyboard, the drums. Yeah, definitely has a lot of interest in music
Yeah.
and acting.
The first question I want to ask you, Vartan,
Sure.
being a parent, do you think it is right for a parent to choose a career for their kids? What do you think about that?
That's a very interesting question. Very
Because a
interesting
lot of
question.
Armenians, they always like, oh, go study this, become a doctor, dentist, and they kind of force them, which
Yeah,
is
no,
wrong in my
forcing-
opinion.
Yeah, forcing, I would definitely not agree with.
Okay.
I mean, you can maybe guide them and give them advice, knowing what they're good at. But I feel like when it's that time for them to make decisions on their own,
Yeah.
as a parent, you should just, support whatever it is that they're trying to do.
So let them decide.
Of course.
Don't be pushy.
Right.
But
Right.
don't you feel Armenian families do that?
Yeah, especially a little bit old school minded people
Yeah.
like to push their kids towards certain directions, but I personally wouldn't do that.
You wouldn't do that. Yeah.
And I definitely wouldn't recommend anyone else to.
Yeah. Good advice. The reason I'm asking or sharing this because I'm a parent too, and I think it's very important to have the kids do something they love because that's
Absolutely.
one of the reasons they're going to become successful.
Yes.
If they really follow their goals, not because what the parent says, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, being a singer for many years, Vartan, I guess my next question is, what's the good thing about it and what's the bad thing about it?
Pros and cons.
Yeah.
Man, it's that's
I know it's a
another.
challenging field. I mean,
Yeah, all fields have their challenges, but I've had so much passion for music ever
uh-huh,
since I was a kid that I didn't really see the bads.
uh-huh.
I don't know. The bad sides might be at our events when people are disrespectful sometimes
Yeah.
or have arguments within them and the event gets ruined.
Yeah.
But I don't really see the bad side of music.
Yeah.
It's art. It's love, and it's music. If the whole world, I think, loves
Yeah.
music.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everybody has a part of music in their life.
Who was your motivation to become a singer? Did you follow someone or was it from your family?
Not really. My dad was a musician
Okay.
in his young ages, but I've I listen to everybody. Honestly,
Mm.
if you would ask me who's my favorite, I probably
You'll have a
wouldn't
hard
be
time
able to give you names. And I not just Armenian music, but
in
international.
general.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, Vartan, going back, before you became a parent, what changes in someone's life when they become a parent and they still have to follow their career, which is in this case you're in music. Is that really bothers you in a sense,
Not at
time
all.
wise, or you still figure out how to handle both?
Absolutely. Yeah, of course. You have to.
Okay.
There's no choice. I love being a father. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I'm blessed to have two boys
Do you know
that
why I asked that? Because a lot of Armenians have an excuse, right? They're like, "Oh, I have kids now. I cannot follow my dreams. I cannot work as hard."
it doesn't
And
exist. I'm not gonna agree with that.
okay,
Yeah,
why?
it doesn't
It's just an
exist.
excuse.
Bro, people will make excuses for anything.
Mm,
Yeah, you you have to figure out one way or another. If it's time management, if it's laziness, if it's
yeah.
the lack of effort, whatever it is,
Mm.
um, people tend to find excuses to kind of suit their own selves. You
Isn't that
blame others, and
selfishness?
of course, yeah. So
Yeah.
it's easy to blame somebody else for which you're not
You're not doing
doing
your part.
right. It's easy to find and look for these things that are supposedly
Yeah.
keeping you from doing so. But having kids or becoming a parent, you just
Mm.
make adjustments. As we're always gonna make adjustments in life.
I think I would even add more. It's turning into a reason, not an excuse. And anything in life that you turn into a reason, you find the time and you find the motivation
Absolutely,
to do it.
absolutely,
Now, you're a big fan of reading books,
right.
and what's the last book you read recently? Do you remember?
Last book. That's a good question. I haven't done much reading this year,
Okay,
so I shifted a little bit from reading to listening
like
more.
podcasts like this, huh?
Exactly, right. I listen a lot more than actually reading,
Uh-huh.
but I have dozens of books that I've went through,
Yeah,
which I still have in my library. Probably The Millionaire Next Door.
that's a good one.
From yeah, you probably know that one.
Yeah,
Uh, it talks about the people that actually are really really filthy successful and really rich, but you would never know if you meet them somewhere outside because how calm and chill they are.
yeah,
They don't like to show it.
yeah. And that shows how humble they are.
Right.
Now, being a famous singer, sometimes probably, I'm just guessing. Is it hard to, keep your emotions in control, or did you ever felt that maybe humbleness is losing itself and you're kind of thinking higher point than anyone else? Because knowing you, I never felt that about you.
Right.
Because a lot of people who become famous and they become successful, slowly you see that shift. So
Sure.
what kept you to balance that?
I think it's just a personality thing with me, bro.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's some people are just genuinely like show off, or they
Yeah.
don't have much, or they haven't done much but will brag about it, right? So I
Yeah.
think it's more of a character, it's a personality thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've never seen myself like, any different or higher than anybody else just
Yeah.
because, I'm like a public figure and put out songs and videos out there.
Yeah. Because, let's be honest, and not to judge anybody, but I'm pretty sure in the music industry, you said that happen. People change, especially when they become famous, right?
Right.
Now, and I appreciate that about you. Every time I call you, you always answer, and you're truly a good friend, man. And
Thank you. Likewise.
well, thank you. It's even in my type of business, the business that I'm in finance. I've seen people come 2-3 years later. They used to make, I don't know, 30,000-40,000 a year.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're making 200,000-300,000, 400, 500, and I see things
The
changing.
change.
Yeah,
Sure.
I mean, they start seeing people down. And I think that's the next thing I want to talk with you, that it's very important. How to stay humble. What keeps you humble? What do you do?
Again, it's a personality thing, but it's probably more of the mindset, right?
Okay.
It's again, some people are just like that naturally.
Okay.
Show offs, they like to show off more than, I mean, even with social media these days, right? You see
Yeah.
people like posting and doing things that are really not fitting them.
Yeah.
I feel like everybody's their own star. Everybody's the star of their own family. There's no such thing as stars. I remember once I heard a Bruce Lee talk.
Which
by the way,
one?
one of my favorite philosophers and martial artists.
Yeah.
He talks about there is no such thing as being a star, and people are super actors. You can be a super athlete. You can be a super actor. You can be super at what you do, right? Master it, just
Yeah,
like he did.
yeah.
He mastered his craft at a
Yeah.
very young age.
Yeah.
Bruce Lee actually completed, I think, more than 80% of the goals he planned to do for himself in life. So,
And he was only 33 when he
right,
passed away.
right,
Yeah.
exactly. So, to answer your question, people like that, right?
Yeah.
People like Bruce Lee, Kobe Bryant, maybe, who again went too young. These are people that did not believe in such a thing as being lucky.
Yeah.
I mean, it's consistency, right?
Yeah.
It's discipline, staying humble while you're mastering your craft,
Yeah.
because there's no such thing really. I believe in that as a superstar or
Yeah.
somebody above. Even there's actor Denzel Washington
Yeah.
comes to my mind. How could you not love that man, right?
Very humble.
As a very, very talented, superstar actor. But when you hear his speeches, when you hear him offset some of the things he says, you know that this guy is in generally a good human being.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's a bunch of names we can give out, but to answer your question,
Yeah.
staying humble in life generally doesn't matter who you are,
Yeah.
what you do, where you're at. You have to
Just-
be a
just
good
stay
person.
humble. Yeah.
You have to be
Yeah.
kind, respect people no matter what their statuses is.
Yeah, yeah. Now, Vartan, I love asking this question, and I think a lot of the guests that I had, I always do. Whatever age you are today, if we go back, today's Vartan giving advice to Vartan when he was 18 years old, what would you tell him?
Probably not to waste so much time doing unnecessary things, and focusing more on personal development, professional development.
Yeah,
But again, those ages are where you're all about
learn
having
the-
fun.
yeah.
You don't really think about the future or
but what
building-
is 3 things you'll tell him, I wish I knew this at that age?
knowledge, discipline,
Okay,
and consistency.
consistency.
Right.
So when you start something, stick to it. Don't just
Absolutely.
change your mind right away.
Right.
Nice.
Absolutely.
Nice.
You got to stick to what you're after. Whatever your goal is in life, you got to be committed. You got to discipline yourself
Yeah.
to even go at it and do it the days that you don't even feel like doing it. Those are the winners in life.
I heard this quote: people who are not successful, they do things based on feelings.
Mm-hmm.
People who are successful, they do things regardless how they feel.
Exactly.
A lot of times
Right.
feelings are very very confusing, and it's a wrong indicators. You cannot follow your feelings all the time.
They
You
could
gotta
get in
you
the
gotta do
way.
what you gotta
Right.
do.
Absolutely.
Now, Vartan, I'm sure, as much as you succeeded, which in reality most people see that from the outside,
Mhm.
I'm sure you had failures too.
Absolutely.
Now, here's my question. When you fail, how do you overcome and how do you pass that stage?
So you got to work on yourself, right?
Yeah.
And no matter in what field you are,
Yeah.
we all, fall and get back up.
Yeah.
So you got to work on fixing your failures and learn from them and grow from them.
Okay.
So forward is the key. Just keep pushing, and we're all gonna fail.
Don't overthink.
Right? Yeah. It's even the superstar successful people,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
to speak, have fallen many times and lost millions and made a lot of bad decisions, but that's what kept them going, and you grow and learn from all the mistakes and the failures.
Yeah. What would you tell to the youngsters nowadays? Like, they're maybe their 20s, they want to choose a path, fusion in these young people. They don't know what direction to choose. What would you advise them?
Nowadays I feel like it's so easy,
With all this information around
of
us.
course. It's easy to learn anything you want. There's so much information right in the palm of our hands that there's really no excuses, right? What
But
do you
how people still come up with excuses then? You think they don't have a
Personality,
drive?
I think.
Personality
Going
again?
back, yeah. It's a habit. So I'm a big believer in habits and choices, right? I strongly have been believing that for many years now.
Yeah.
And that goes with everybody anywhere in the world. It's unless you're somebody who has a health issue that's
Yeah. That's
really
reasonable.
tough.
Yeah.
That's somebody who has a heart failure or that's battling cancer
Yeah.
or anything in that kind of nature can make excuses. I mean, there's even people that still push
Yeah.
hard
Yeah.
being in situations like that. But unless you're somebody with serious health issues, my point is there's really no excuses.
Yeah.
You either make excuses or you make things happen. So
Yeah.
you definitely need to go after what you want. And for the younger generation, I think social media has taken over a lot of them in a bad way.
In a bad way.
We-
There's a lot of good things, but
Absolutely.
if you...
I feel like the bad is more.
bad is
right?
more.
Yeah.
I see.
I mean, we didn't grow up with social media,
my.
right?
Remember when we used to do the loan business together?
Right.
We used to go door knocking, business to business, cold calling. There
Right.
was no YouTube or
of this,
Instagram or
yeah.
Facebook. Now it's much easier.
Yeah, exactly. It's much easier to learn what you want to learn,
Yeah.
make connections, grow, study, whatever it is. Keep
Yeah.
punching, keep kicking every single day.
Nice. Now, Vartan, do you do journaling, daily journaling?
I absolutely do. I've been doing it for a long time.
How that helps you?
It helps in a lot of ways, and believe it or not, some people might think that's funny.
Yeah.
Some people might, say I don't have the time to journal, but journaling there's so much to it. And if you can't make 5-10 minutes each day to write out your thoughts, I like to write down, gratitude on a
That's
daily
a good one.
basis. I like to write my goals down, break them down in detail,
Yeah.
and kind of plan smaller steps how I need to achieve those goals.
Yeah.
So our minds cannot store all this information. I like to write it down, pen and paper,
Yeah.
and I also keep a separate journal in my phone.
Yeah. I remember when I came your house first time, you showed me your books and some of the note journals that you had, which is awesome. That's a
Right.
good hobby to have, and I
Yes.
think everyone should have it.
Yes, and I know you're also a fan of that, and also do journaling and reading.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Vartan, outside of singing, what other hobbies do you have? What do you love to do?
Man, there's so much.
Yeah.
There's so much I like to do. Just to name a few, a
Yeah.
lot of outdoor activities,
You like
fishing,
nature.
hiking, biking. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, shooting, uh, different kind of sports.
Yeah.
So there's a lot that I like to do
Yeah.
when there's free time.
Nice. Nice. Now, do you work out?
Absolutely,
How
absolutely.
many times a week?
At least 3 times, sometimes more. I mean, there's weeks we slack off, but
Yeah.
I try to be consistent with that as much as possible.
Mm-hmm.
If I can't make it to the gym, I'll go for a walk in the morning,
Nice.
do some warm up exercises, kind of get my mind and body ready for the
Yeah.
day.
Now, why is that important?
I mean, it's
I know everyone knows it's important, but why is it important for you? Is it keeps you focused, energized?
absolutely, yeah. It I mean, and especially in the morning for it. Some people work out in the evenings or after
Yeah.
work. Like I've always liked to work out in the morning, do my exercise.
But being a singer, how do you wake up early? Isn't it hard? Or maybe
So
it's the weekends.
no, I mean it's been quite several years already that I've kind of switched my
Yeah.
sleeping habits as
Okay.
well. Uh, Getting early to bed, I still am struggling to do. I can't get to sleep earlier, but
Yeah.
getting up early is definitely key. I got to take my son, drop him off to
Yeah.
school
Yeah.
and kind of come back, prepare for the day. So I'm working on trying to get to bed
Yeah.
earlier.
Yeah. Good. That's something maybe, you should focus on. I mean, being a singer is not easy, because especially in the weekends, what time you finish, like 3, 4 a.m. sometimes, or
Not as much, yeah. Not
maybe
as
when you're younger, huh?
right, yeah. Because
Yeah.
back in the days, it used to be full night shows. Now it's
Yeah.
more of half hour or 1 hour
Yeah.
performances.
Yeah.
So it's not late hours. But even if I'm home, I could be in my home studio and still up late. Sometimes I even lose track of time.
Yeah.
I'll look at the clock and it's 3 a.m. Like, okay, you need
Time
to
to,
shut down
yeah. Yeah.
and go to bed because I gotta be up at 7 o'clock.
Yeah. Vartan, any ideas that you're working on that you like people to hear about? Maybe projects that you really want to make it into reality? I know one time we were talking and you told me you have an interest of writing a book. And is that something that you still want to pursue in general? Any ideas, projects you're working
Not
on?
at the moment. Probably not at the moment of any writing. I do a lot of studying on my own.
Yeah.
I'm constantly working on myself.
Yeah.
Personally, professionally,
Yeah.
trying to be a better father, a better partner, a better husband, better friend,
Nice.
better
Man.
at my business and my music and craft. So
Yeah.
that's what I'm really focused on right now.
Yeah.
To grow and to help as many people as I can.
Yeah. Nice, man. Nice. I'm having a great time with you and
Likewise.
also taking mental notes.
Amazing.
Now, you became father a few years ago, and
Right.
when you had your second one, what's the feeling about having a second kid? Because I remember when I had my first one, and when people were talking about when you have the second one, it's a different type of love. Of course, it's equal love.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel that?
It's equal, definitely. It's just
Yeah.
different, different feeling.
More
Minus-
responsibilities, huh?
Right.
Yeah.
But I love it. I mean, it's there's not a single thing I can think about complaining.
Nice, man.
Whether it's the late nights, whether it's the crying or whining for it's their kids. They're supposed to do that.
Yeah, yeah.
I love every part of being a father. That's
Nice,
for sure.
man.
I'm so blessed. I thank God every morning,
Yeah.
during the day, and every night before bed
Yeah.
for all the blessings that I have.
Nice,
It's
bro. Good
amazing.
attitude, bro.
Of course,
Yeah.
you have to have good attitude.
Yeah.
Because see, much in the youngin days, I wasn't so much positive, and I was one of the naysayers and complaining, why
Yeah.
me, why this, why that. But as we grow older, you learn that we're all guests on this planet for a very short time, and you have to appreciate what you have. You have to be thankful to God
Yeah, bro.
for all the blessings, and
Absolutely.
work on what you want to achieve.
Vartan, in the Bible, even there's many verses
Mhm.
where it specifically says God blesses those more when they have a thankful heart.
Absolutely.
And I think that's a part of having a good attitude too. So
Sure.
nice,
Absolutely.
nice. Um, uh, One thing I want to ask you, what's your goals next 5, 10 years? Anything? Are you starting to think about retirement or is too
Of
early?
course, I'm starting to think about retirement.
But do you see yourself retiring? I mean,
Well, retiring, it can mean different things. Retiring meaning, in my mindset, retiring doesn't mean stopping working.
mhm.
Retiring to me is more of building now in the next, 10, 20 years to just be comfortable in my
Yeah,
late
yeah,
50s and
yeah,
60s, right? That's
yeah,
what I'm aiming towards. But I don't think I'll ever stop working unless,
yeah,
I
yeah,
get to live up to being a really old guy. Um, but for sure, being more comfortable
yeah.
where I know I don't have much worries about monthly bills, or I know I have enough investments to take care of me, my kids,
Yeah,
their kids,
yeah,
and so on and
yeah.
so forth.
Nice. Do you have a bucket list that you want to
I
do
do. I do.
next few
Yeah.
years? Do you
Of
want to
course.
share any of them?
I mean, yeah, sure. Why not? It's a bucket list is maybe going on a safari in the next few
Okay,
years.
nice.
Yeah, I'm definitely into, the kingdom of the animal life. I watch it a lot actually on
I
National
love Animal
Geographic.
Channel.
Right.
I think my wife complains when I watch too
Too
much.
much?
Yeah. You can learn a lot of things from animals
Absolutely.
too.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
it calms me down, Mike.
Yeah.
Right? It really calms me down, especially with the good narrator.
Yeah.
I'll watch it for, a couple of hours before bed. I don't watch much TV, but
Yeah.
if I have the option to, it's probably gonna be something like that.
Nice.
I don't do, Netflix series
Yeah. Yeah.
um,
You know,
episode after episode.
I don't know. Have you noticed when I watch Animal Channel, I learn to be a better parent. It's weird to explain it this way, but you learn from
It's not
even
weird,
animals, like how they take care of
of
their
course.
kids. You learn like how they take care of themselves.
Right.
There's so many lessons you can learn from that.
Absolutely. I've
Yeah.
been learning and studying them, for many years.
Which animal is your favorite one?
Uh,
Eagle or lion?
well, both,
Both?
both. Yeah, it's believe it or not, I wouldn't be able to tell you a favorite. And
Yeah.
I like all of them.
Yeah.
You learn each animal is unique in its own way.
Yeah. Yeah. Good. Good. Now, Vartan, going back to singing again, my question is this: is there a specific song that it's your favorite all the time from your own songs?
From my own songs,
Yeah.
probably Halelem,
Hallelujah.
if you remember that. I feel like that's a signature song.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm gonna make a final decision on
That
saying
one.
Halelem.
Cool. If you don't mind, maybe we can share that and then come back to it. Is that okay with
Yeah,
you?
let's do it.
All right, cool. All right, guys. So we're gonna continue the podcast. As a reminder, my guest is famous and very well known, respected Vartan Taymazyan. Looking forward to continue the interview with him. So let's go ahead. Vartan, that was a good song, and I'm sure a lot of young couples who are in love, they are Halil already listening that. So any song that came from event that happened in your life that you turn into a song or words, or most of them borns that way, or how that happens?
Not really. So I used to write my own songs. Last several years, I've been working with different producers and
Okay,
songwriters
okay,
here in LA and in Armenia, of course.
yeah,
But nowadays, it's more of kind of focusing on something that's gonna touch different
I
different
see,
people in different
I
parts of the
see.
world. So you gotta really like sit down and put your heart and soul into
Got it.
writing and composing and
Yeah.
arranging.
Is there a song that you're thinking to write that can really also transfer your maybe beliefs through the song to people?
Possibly yes,
What would
yes.
what would be the topic?
You can't have much different topics,
Yeah.
especially with the Armenian language, right?
Uh-huh.
It has to be either love
Yeah.
for a mother, father, brother, sister. That's really what
Yeah,
the
yeah.
main topics are. But yeah, I'm definitely planning on doing something different.
Yeah.
Maybe different kind of genre,
Got it.
different kind of beat. Working with one of my close friends who's a very good producer and composer
Nice.
to bring that alive maybe by summertime
Got
this
it.
year.
Is there a singer that it's in your bucket list that you want to do duet with?
Not really,
Uh-huh.
but maybe we're thinking about doing a duet with an upcoming female artist
Got it.
sometime in the
Got
next
it.
3 to 6 months.
Got it. Now some funny questions. Did it ever happen where you're recording and you just laugh comes and you just can't hold yourself and they just keep cutting?
Yeah, of
Any events
course.
like that?
Yeah, sure. It's happened. There has been times where I've recorded a song and I wasn't feeling it that
Okay.
night and I had to come back a different day.
Uh-huh.
Or we had guests come in and we had to kind of stop what we're doing.
Yeah.
And then going back to it like 2 hours later is just not the same. So there's been many occasions like that where I
Yeah.
can recall.
Yeah, cool. Now, to kind of summarize our conversation, what would you wish to, especially our culture, Armenians, what they should focus on in their life so their life can get better and better every time?
Helping each other out,
Mm.
letting some egos go. I mean, we are only 10, between 10 and 12 million around the world.
Yeah.
Great people. I love our culture. I love our people. But I feel like there's so much more we can all do for one another.
What needs to be changed?
Attitudes, egos. Yeah. And we need to start helping each other more.
Be united, huh?
Right. Yeah. And the jealousy needs to stop. Right. The competition needs to stop. Competition is healthy,
A
especially in
respectful
business.
competition, right?
But,
So,
arguing over whose car has more power is not the right way to go about it. So my advice will definitely, I feel like maybe our younger generation can change that. I still have hope that
yeah.
we
And
can-
we have to if you want to grow as a community.
right.
We have to. We have no choice. If we don't, I don't think it's going to get better. If we do, then we'll see
There's a
big
chance.
changes.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Any last words that you want to tell and so we can finish this
I don't know
awesome
if I thank you
conversation?
for having me earlier when we first started, but I truly want to thank you for having me. I love what you got going on here. Amazing studio. I want to wish you much success. I know you're already
Thank you, man.
very
Thank you.
successful in what you've been doing.
Yeah.
And we go way back, so I know you've always been a hardworking guy. Very dedicated to your family and your
Yeah.
friends and your clients. I really hope you 10x all that, and I
Thank
know
you.
you're on the right track in
Thank you.
accomplishing all your
Thank
goals.
you.
So thanks for having me. I really appreciate this, and I enjoyed the conversation today.
Same here, Vartan. Thank you again. Thank you for your time, and it's honored for me you being here, and I can call you a good friend. And
Yes,
I'm looking forward in the future if we have more projects to do it together. So,
we will absolutely.
all right, take care.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. This was Mais Karibyan. I hope you enjoyed this episode also, and don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and just share the video. Let others see it too. See you guys next time. Take care. Bye bye.